Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we should have a good one. It's the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Imperial Shuttle. It's number 8 in the set and released in 2022. The Imperial Shuttle, or Lambda-class shuttle, was first seen in Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, released in 1983. However, it did make other on-screen appearances, such as Rogue One, and also Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, the Special Edition. For those who have been watching my channel know I am a huge lover of the Imperial Shuttle. It's one of my favorites, if not the favorite ship, in some of the lines I reviewed, and in general it's probably up there neck and neck with the Outrider and other classics that I really enjoy. But every time I see the Imperial Shuttle, I admire its elegance. I love the industrial designs, the white or off-white or gray paint scheme it normally has. The wings could fold down, and I'm always reminded, wow, I really like that ship. When I reviewed the Imperial Shuttle for the 3-inch Hot Wheels line, I believe that won as my favorite ship of the whole run, and it was well worth it. Nicely scaled, beautifully detailed, and the wings could move, which was a huge plus. So now we have the Starship Select version. Is it as detailed and beautiful as all the rest of the ships we've been seeing? Well, we're gonna find out. For those who are new to my channel, what I'm gonna do is take a look at the box, rip it open, and then we're gonna take a nice look at the ship, show off all the key points, zoom in, see all those hidden details, then put it on a stand, look at the paint and other dimensions, compare it to some other pieces, and then we'll be done. So let's get started. Alright, let's take a look at the box. Up at the top, we have number 8, the Imperial insignia. Nice little schematic of the Imperial Shuttle, which looks pretty cool. We have Star Wars. There's the ship itself. Now, I ordered this off eBay, so I'm sorry it's a little scratched up, but it looks pretty good. Very nice. Can't wait to crack this open. Looks like we have some painted engines right there, which is nice. Oh boy, excited. So we have Imperial Shuttle, Hot Wheels Starship Select. We already looked at the sides. Nothing to really write home about. The other side. The bottom. Copyright crap and recycling and Disney, you know. And then on the back, we have Star Wars. The ship on the stand and the wings are able to fold down, which is great. Other ships in the line, which pretty sure I reviewed most of these. These two are coming, so brace thyselves. And then we have copyright crap. So all in all, pretty cool looking box. So now let's crack this bad boy open. Alright, so you know me, I don't keep my boxes at all, so let's crack this bad boy open and see what we got. Put the ship to the side. Take this out. Chuck this. Yeet! And now we have this little section, which I like to show off. We can see all the schematics of different vessels, which to me looks great. I wish they sold this as like a design you could put on a wall. That would be kind of neat. Pretty cool. So we'll yeet that. Whoop. Right here we have our stand. So it comes in a little box like this with some directions on how to put it together. We get our base plate, which comes in tissue paper. So we'll open that up. Imperial Shuttle, looking sharp. And we'll take a closer look at the stand and its pylon in just a few moments. So I'll put that to the side. We don't need this anymore, so we could yeet this. And then we have our ship. Pretty cool. So this part opens up. There we go. All right, let's get a couple shots here before I begin. This is right out of the package. I didn't particularly care for the lighting. but right here, you can see all the details are clear as day, beautifully done, and if I turn it, it looks like it was ripped right from the movies. Very cool, very detailed. This is an amazing piece. I love the shuttle, as I keep saying, but Hot Wheels, I believe, did a fantastic job with this. Does have its little negatives here and there, but on the whole, it looks great. So, just like with all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the vehicle, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see the fine details. So, let's begin. We have our dorsal wing on the top for stability. We have our two wings on the sides, which look fantastic. It does have a moving feature. We'll look at that in just a few. Then right here, we have on the bottom blaster cannons. Then our laser cannons on top of that. So pretty nice. We have the main body here. Then right here, we have our cockpit looking dope. Very cool. In the aft section, we have our engines, which look fantastic in my opinion. You can see the two engines on each side looking nice. Right here, we have our rear turret, which a lot of companies sometimes don't put in there because it's so small. But there it is, molded nice for the size. I dig it. On the bottom of the craft, let me get a good grip here. I don't want to drop it. We have two rivets, peg port for the stand, copyright crap, and on the sides here should be the landing gear. Of course, it's retracted, and right here should be the load-in ramp. So very nice, very detailed. You can see the outsides of the wings looking very crisp, and I love the wash on here. The wash gets in all the nooks and crannies and really brings the detailing to life. Now, before I conclude, let's look at the moving parts. For the movement on the wing, it can go up, and there's a cool thing about this. As you can see, there's a little resistance there, but once it reaches a little hump, it sort of snaps into this upward position, which I like. The only issue with this is there's nothing stopping it from tapping the top. And as we know with Hot Wheels paint and a lot of die-cast pieces, if metal is hidden, sooner or later the paint will chip. So if you have one of these, this is the only major issue I have with it. Just watch out. But, you know, if you just have it on a shelf, these will go up. They'll lock into place like so. And there you go. Now to put it down, just pull and see there's a little resistance there. Don't be afraid, just push. And it will lock into position. How cool is that? You could even hear the little thud. Listen. I don't know if you got that, but really satisfying to hear that. Now, one thing I'm going to mention is look at the mechanism here. Very nice, very built up. Now, when I close it, you could see the bottom is very flush. They engineered this beautifully. Look at that. Nice. And of course, you could put it right back down. Snaps into position. And you're good to go. Awesome. So, great wings. I love the gimmicks they have here that hold the wing in place. Little iffy with the top. You know, I don't want the paint to chip off, but beautiful model. So now, let's get a closer look. Alright, having a closer look, we're going to begin looking at the dorsal wing and work our way down to the bottom of the vessel. As we can see here, the detailing is amazing. I know from a distance it looks very flat, but there's just layers and layers of this paneling. You have recessed sections, protrusion sections, and just lots of great line work. I think it looks amazing. Really nice. Again, we can see more molding down here. And then where it connects to the main body, we have some nice molding there. Which looks really neat. Now, if I look at it like this, from a distance, it looks flat. But when you get close to it, you can see there is lots of little layers in there, which is pretty cool. A little hard to focus on that, but really neat. Now the other side is the same. There's no real differences whatsoever, but nicely detailed nonetheless. Now one thing I'm going to mention is the side here. As you can see, there are the layers that look like little staircases on each side, which is very nice and adds to what I was saying before, how you have different layers of detailing going on here. Pretty cool. If we look at it from the side here, where the paint wash sort of filled in all those nooks and crannies, you can see there's definitely like little steps there. See them? Coming right down to the aft, which is amazing. Nicely done. The underneath, nothing really there. It's sort of just flat. And then at the top, you can see those little steps coming down. Just really cool. Something they didn't even need to do. They could have just left it blank going down the sides, but they didn't. I think it looks great. See on the bottom, it's mostly flat right here, but around the main dorsal wing is nicely detailed. I know it's something really dumb, but I'm getting a kick out of it. Now for the main body, we have a lot of detail in here. It's covered by this nice gray dark wash, fills in all the nooks and crannies. Some would say it's a little too much. I kind of dig it. I don't know. Just that dirty look. I love it. You can see some nice mold in here. The paint sort of rounds out some of these details. So like I like to say, details get lost in the sauce. But it doesn't look too bad at all. Everything that should be there is. I know I'm jumping the gun with the aft, but look at that. Look at the components in here. We have little hoses or pipes, boxes, our turret, which the turret looks great. Look at that. 2 barrels, nicely done. Excellent. And I like how it's all recessed in there. So we have the armor on the outside protecting the gunner. Pretty sick. Then we have our little shelf here. Really nice, rounded in the back. 2 little pins for our little assembly here for the wing section so it can move. And then our engines are recessed in, and then the 2 portions that are painted blue are sort of protruding out just a little bit. Very nice. I think that came out great. Now coming back to this side, it's like the same as the other. Some line work, little modules here and there, but great molding. On the top, some molded sections, same as the other side, you know. Basically, it's one side. You saw it from the other way, but nicely done. Then we have our cockpit or command module. See some great line work. Little doodad right there. The window looks fantastic. Nicely done. I love it. I think it looks great. Now, before we go to the bottom, here we have on the top should be the laser cannons, and you can see 2 little barrels right there, 2 little nibs. And then on the bottom here, in the cannon, these would rotate up and down, and these are blaster cannons. And you can see that there's 2 barrels that are molded. They're connected, but what are you going to do? For the size, I guess we're lucky we even had that amount of detail. Now if I go to the underneath real quick, you can see that there is little molding underneath the blaster cannons and the laser cannons, which is nice. Pretty sick. A little more detailing on this side though, as you can see at the top with the laser cannons. It's more pronounced. But that's what I mean. Sometimes the paint on here sort of goes on and sort of rounds everything out, and they sort of lose some of those details, but not not too bad. It's not the end of the world, but just something to keep a note of. So for the underneath of the command module or cockpit, just look at this beautiful detailing. I love the front here with this grate or fin type of design. Pretty nice. We have a rivet right there. This is our entry ramp. So it would drop down this way and then everybody would walk out the bottom. Pretty cool. Peg port for the stand, some copyright crap, another rivet. And just amazing amounts of detail on here. Great line work. Awesome. I think they did a great job with that. Now for the bottom wings, they are very similar, almost exact copies of each other. But the detailing is amazing. Nice panels. As you can see, it's just like the dorsal wing. These have different layers that sort of build up over time, and it looks great in my opinion. Beautiful. And for the sides, you can see there is one layer. You can make it out right there where it connects. Sort of steps up and then goes all the way down. Sort of flat on the bottom. And a little flat on this side. See how it's a little rounded? And it connects right here where we would have our blaster cannons. Pretty cool. And then, as you can see the detail right here, we have our mechanism for the wing. But if I fold it up, see it lines up very nicely and the detailing continues on the bottom. And again, nice job. Very detailed, very clean line work. I dig it. And that's basically all the great details of the vessel. What do you guys think? I think it looks pretty darn good. And that's everything I have to say about the mold. Hopefully I covered everything on this beautiful vessel. So now let's put it on a stand. And now looking at the stand for the Imperial Shuttle, we have our base plate piece, which has the Imperial insignia, Imperial Shuttle, a nice silver paint. The base itself is a beautiful glossy black. On the front, we have Star Wars molded right here, and Hot Wheels molded on this side. For the underneath, we have copyright crap. So for the second piece of the stand, we have our pylon. Connect it like so. As soon as you hear that snap, you're good to go. On the top, we have our ball. And on the ship, we have our port. Put the ball in the port. Hear that little suction click. And just like that, everybody, you are good to go. Alright, looking at the paint on the Lambda class shuttle, this bad boy features about 5 different colors. We have light gray, dark gray, blue, glossy black, red, and a nice dark gray wash. For the ship's size, it comes in at 2.69 inches or 68.33 millimeters long. For the ship's weight, it comes in at 5.306 ounces or 150 grams. And now for a quick size comparison with the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Imperial Shuttle seen in the center. I have it next to other Starships Select vehicles. First, on the right hand side, we have Boba Fett's Starship, aka Slave 1. And finally, on the left hand side, we have an Imperial TIE Fighter. These ships are all cool in their own ways, and if you want to see reviews of any of them, check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Starships Select Imperial Shuttle. This is number 8 in the set and released in 2022. I think Hot Wheels did an amazing job with the details. Everything is there that should be. The panel lines, the miniature details throughout, especially around the dorsal wing I especially love the aft section with the engines and the rear mounted turret. There's details here that I wouldn't have expected to see, but they're very welcomed. And the overall aesthetic and scaling of it looks amazing to me. Now when it comes to the paint, we have 6 colors working together. Now some may argue that the wash is a little heavy. Yeah, I could see it, but from a distance, it sort of adds this nice shadow effect and realism to the vessel, which Star Wars is known for. The only problem is, when it comes to the Imperial Shuttle, in my mind, it's very clean, it's very white. The only one that was a little scuffed up here and there is the one that Han and his team used when it landed on Endor, and that's pushing it, because even that looked a little white. But having said that, I really think they did a great job with the white and the grays, especially the glossy black for the cockpit window. I think that is great. The blue for the engines really pops to me as well. Now the ship also comes with a great looking stand. I love the glossy black, the insignia, and the name. It makes it match the rest of the line. And even though I'm not a big fan of the ball joints, you know what? The stands themselves look amazing. So that's basically everything I have to say about this beautiful looking vessel today. If you enjoyed the video, smash that like button. And if you want to see new videos every week, subscribe. To all of you out there who took the time out of your hectic schedule to watch my content, I greatly appreciate it more than you guys can imagine. And I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.